Frank Smith with the Lightweight Boxing Show. Delighted to be joined. Frank, first and foremost, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. Glad to be here in Manchester. Sun is shining and it's a good day.
Best city in the country?
Do you know what? I will say my top places are London. I love London. Well, I love Brighton. I live in Brighton, right? So that's my favourite place. London, Manchester, and also I like Liverpool as well. But Manchester's very much up there. Got some great restaurants, and I like my food, as you can see.
Conor Benn this Saturday. You last saw him out at the back end of last year in Liverpool, and then Leeds before that. Why in the north? Why do we keep seeing Conor Benn up north?
I'll be completely honest with you. Manchester wasn't our first intention to stage this show. Obviously, Conor's based in London, Essex, London. London we would have preferred to do the show. It's very hard to get dates at the minute with venues and musicians booking things off the back of COVID. So Manchester had the date, it made sense, and that's why we're here. But being honest, it would have been good to go to London.
Yeah, 'cause Eddie, last time we spoke, said he wanted Conor Benn to headline at the O2. Is that something we can maybe expect? Should he come through this at later in the year?
Yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, O2 is the busiest venue in I'd say up there in the world, and every other promoter has a lot more time to do things. Not boxing promoters, but other events. Boxing's very much 8, 10, 12 weeks, so we're a bit more restricted on what we can do. But that is the plan: get him at the O2 headlining.
Van Heerden comes into this. He's not had a proper fight in a couple of years. How long does he last against Conor Benn?
Look, I think we've come under a bit of fire for the opponent choice, but Conor Benn is still young, still learning, and still developing. And I think if you would have said 2 years ago Conor Benn is going to be facing Chris Van Heerden, people would have said no chance. People wrote him off, and now it's like he can't go quick enough. He wants to fight the biggest names. He wants to fight the best names. But firstly, he's got to get through the test of Chris Van Heerden. Southpaw, he's going to learn a lot in there. And I think just like he learned against Chris Algieri, he'll learn a lot on Saturday night. I think he can go in there and stop him though, and hopefully we get another knockout performance like we had in Liverpool.
We spoke to Matthew Hatton, his last fight was against Van Heerden. He says he doesn't believe Van Heerden has enough to really trouble Conor Benn too much. But what does he have that he could bring that could really test Conor Benn?
I think, as I said there, the Southpaw challenge for Conor is going to be interesting because it's the first time he's faced a Southpaw. So that's going to be, the hard thing is what's he going to do? Just go in against the best in the world who may be a Southpaw and never have challenged anyone at any level. And I think this is a perfect time for him to have that fight. So that's going to take time, I think, throughout the fight for him to adjust and sort of set his game plan into it. But I think Van Heerden, with his experience, we saw it when Galahad fought Martinez. Experience is always there. You never lose that side of it. And I think that's going to be an important part to play in this.
Just on the back of that, Josh Warrington had a very terribly bloated jaw after that win. Have you heard of Kiko and Josh? How are they doing?
I saw Kiko was in the gym on a spin bike, like on the Monday or something, and Josh was eating mixed up food because he couldn't eat actual food. So I'm not sure he was that happy about that. But no, he's going to need a little bit of time, obviously with the hand injury, the jaw. But he'll be ready to go. He showed a lot of heart as always, and we're looking forward to getting him back out as soon as we possibly can when he's all medically cleared.
The rest of the card, so we've got Alicia Baumgardner. She's coming in on short notice, but she told me earlier that she's always ready. I heard you saying before that she dropped out of a card due to illness or injury. What does it mean for her? Like you signed her off the back of the Terry Harper win. What excitement does she bring for Matchroom?
Look, we saw a great performance when she took on Terry Harper. Alicia wants to go on and become the undisputed in the division. There's some great fights for her. Choi being one of them, Michaela Meyer being the other as well. So she's got to get through Saturday night. She's always in the gym. She's a real professional, always training. So I'm glad we could get her out on the platform again. That was important after she pulled out before. So I'm glad we could get her out quickly. And yeah, big fights down the road for her. And I believe she can become the undisputed champion of the world.
Devin Haney, at the end of the Josh Warrington fight, we sort of found out that he signed a co-promotional deal. How did you find that out, and sort of what impacts has it had on you?
Now look, Eddie had obviously been speaking to Devin. We've got a great relationship with Devin. We've worked with him for a long time, and I think, not to blow our own trumpet, but we've invested heavily, as have DAZN, and also invested our time as well to grow him and get him to where he is. and we'll continue to have a great relationship with him. I think hopefully he goes in there, and I believe he can. He goes in there and becomes the undisputed champion of the world on June 4th in Australia. He's got to go and do it again then if he beats him. So he's got to do it twice, and I think he can do that. Devin's a real talent. In terms of look, I'd be lying if I said we wouldn't love to have done that fight, but it didn't work out. And Devin's going to go in there and do a job, and hopefully after that he'll come back because we work well together.
Just moving on to next week, Fury and Whyte. What did you make of the promotion or the lack thereof?
What, from Dillian or just in general?
In general, it's been quite a subdued promotion, to say the least.
Look, I think on Dillian's perspective, I can understand there was lots going on in the background. The promotion of the show itself, like someone asked me, compare it to what you do. We've got like a machine of 35 people who work for us just in the team. We've got PR agencies who work for us on top of that. We are like 24/7 building, and that's mainly because Eddie is the way he pushes everyone. Relentless. I'm quite relentless as well, and it works well. But I think it's just different that they don't. And this isn't I'll get stick for saying this, but how many major fights has Frank Warren promoted in the last few years? But that's the truth. That's not me saying it to be negative, but we do it every week. We're doing Taylor Serrano, then we're doing Bivol the week after that, then we're finalising Joshua Usyk, then we're doing Canelo's next fight later in the year. We are week to week to week to week, huge events all around the world, and it's what we do. So, I think it's done differently. I don't think it's got the promotion it deserves. It's a huge fight. It sold a lot of tickets. They sold 94,000 tickets. They broke the record. Well done to them. Congrats. And it's going to be a great fight, and I'll be watching. Maybe not there, but I'll definitely be tuning in.
Whyte broke his silence on social media for the first time of the whole promotion. What did you make of his post?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a nice little video they put together. Look, he's been training hard. He's been dedicated for a long time now. He's been waiting for this chance to fight for the WBC world title. And I think he'll go in there and do a job. Maybe it was the birthday video that Warren put out that made him do that. Maybe it just tipped him over the edge.
Does he win? How does he win?
I think he knocks Tyson Fury out.
I've heard some rumours that Sky are involved with trying to sign Dillian Whyte. Is there any truth in that?
I mean, I'm sure everyone's trying to sign Dillian Whyte. Look, he's another one we've had a great relationship with. We worked with him for 8-9 years. You only have to look at the process that they've been through with Dillian Whyte over the last few months, and how difficult everyone's made it. We just do things the right way. Things don't have to be difficult. It can be quite easy. And look, I'm hopeful he goes in there, does a job, and he comes back. Because we work well together, and fingers crossed.
You mentioned Joshua Usyk earlier on. What is the latest on that, and is there any suggestions to where that's going to be hosted?
Yeah, we spoke to Alex Krasuk yesterday. Everything's Usyk's training in camp, AJ as well, and we're working through a few venue options now. And hopefully in the next, I know we said this for a while and this has been going on, but obviously situations out of everyone's control. Hopefully in the next 5-7 days we'll have some more clarity, because we know, the anticipation for this fight is huge. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Any likelihood it's going to be in the UK? Because I've heard a lot about Saudi Arabia, the Middle East.
Yeah, Middle East, Saudi Arabia's potential, UK still a potential. So, all these conversations we're going through now. But as soon as we know, we'll let everyone know, because it's been waiting a long time for it.
Last two, Frank, and I'll let you go. Joshua last fought on Sky. It was his last fight on Sky. Is there any news as to whether Joshua's going to sign with DAZN?
No news yet. Freddie Cunningham, the 258 management team, have been working hard, and we've been working closely with them. Look, AJ's the hottest property in British boxing, and if not, up there in world boxing as well, with the likes of Canelo, etc. Everyone wants to work with Anthony Joshua. Sky, look, you can't take away, they've done an amazing job with Anthony Joshua, alongside us, alongside 258 and AJ. We've all worked hard to get into that point. So, let's we'll wait and see as things play out, but once we got the news on the fight, that will all follow through with it as well.
Very last one then, Frank. It's been a really strong quarter for boxing, Matchroom, and just boxing in general. What can the rest of the year bring us?
I think you only have to look at our schedule that we've got coming up. You know, we've got Conor Benn on Saturday night, William Smith-McCarthy on the undercard, Alicia Baumgardner on there, for Bagnier in a week's time in Italy. You know, a smaller local show. You've got Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, April 30. You've got Canelo Bivol, May 7th. You've got Vargas Smith on the undercard of that. May 13, Scardina against De Carolis, which is a great fight. You got May 20, Kerman Leharaja against JJ Metcalf. You got May 21st, Boatsy Richards, and more shows we're planning on announcing now. Joshua Usyk's going to be in there as well. You know, I think the schedule's unrivaled. I think it's a great time for the sport in general. People are doing great shows, and that only is for the better of the sport. So long may it continue, some big nights to come.